There we are. Up and running. Yeah. Nice. Get my reference document up here. Get my get my line of action tab up and running. Yeah. Whoops. Almost Christmas, people. Almost the holidays. Oh, come on. The artist first world struggle of wanting to split your monitor into different sections that have different information, but every time you drag the border of the Windows window to the edge of your screen, it explodes into a full screen window, but you don't want a full screen window. You want your OBS in the top left, and then you want your browser in the bottom, and but then once you just extend that browser, it just takes up the whole screen. Life's tough, huh? Okay, and then ref document and one of these hey we're live stories for the Instagrams. Live on Twitch right now. More art. No lies. He tells no lies. All right, cool. Um, a little bit of momentum first. We get momentum by doing some random figure studies. Figure drawings. I'm almost done with the Christmas presents. It's good. It's great. It's a good place to be. I'm meeting my deadline. It's been my go-to like item of banter when chat's not been supplying it all of December, but it's an important thing. It's a big thing. It's a pressing deadline. Like do 10 character pieces with or do 10 sort of like commission scale pieces within a month on top of your other work. It's not a it's not a short order, let me tell you that. All right, we're back. We're drawing again, digitally, on stream. We've had like no snow this year. Usually in Denmark we have like a bit of snow for the Christmas season, and the big question is just whether or not we'll have a white Christmas. But this year, this year no snow. I guess it is the beginning of winter, but still, you know. I mean, also, what do I care? Chronically in my art cave. It's not like I'd go play in the snow if we had any. On the docket today, I think it's just more character sketching. Um, I don't have a lot of specifics. Actually, I do need to do some more environment stuff for Hound, the project we've been developing forever. But since that might be even more explorative and flailing than my character design process, I kind of I'd prefer starting the environment design off stream, just so I get to flail around in Blender um, without the need to be entertaining at the same time. Okay. I think it's a general thing with my figures that I want them to be. I want the marks to be more designed. I want fewer of them. There's a little too much like, what's the decision here? Is it concave or is it convex? A little too much of that stuff in them still. Ambiguity. And another one. Yeah, yeah. So these shoulders are really raised, and when you raise the shoulders that much, clavicle folds back, is foreshortened, kind of disappears into the deltoid. I don't believe that we'll get that much of a gap between the shoulder and the neck, though. And the only reason I'm saying believe here is because there's a bit of she's got really long hair, the model in this picture, so I can't. This shoulder is obscured, right? Okay. Thanks for following. Mipachi Tuo. The my preview of my own stream is small enough that I typically have to do a bit of a zoom to read whoever follows. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? Hi, hi. Try that again. I mean, that would be fine if we were staring straight at the subject, but this reference is quite foreshortened. You love my art? Aw, thank you so much. Appreciate it. You're ready to sleep, but you saw my Instagram story. Oh no, no, come back another time. Please do sleep. I swear to you, getting the amount of sleep you need is more important than whatever could go on in this stream. I guess unfortunately that is grieving from my side because my streams are always at this time of day. No problem. You love the art streams. Happy to hear it. Something's off, and it's because wow. Okay, give me a second. She's really, she's really hunching forward. Hello, hey Sod, how you doing? How are you doing? I do know her. I do know TB Choi. She's really good. I like I frequently study her figures just because I think the mannequinization is so good that I'd like to use some of that secret sauce in my own drawings. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. How am I today? I'm good. Yeah, I'm great. Been sleeping well. Um, had a lovely weekend. Did essentially jack shit. Um, or at least I didn't do anything difficult this weekend, which was really nice. Just mostly hung out with my roommate, had a good time. Yeah, this is better. Way more of that hunch. You have a question. What do I prefer, Photoshop or Clip Studio? Um, Generally, Clip Studio for drawing, Photoshop for painting and photo editing. Um, Image manipulation in general, I think, is better in Photoshop. But Clip Studio, the software that I use currently, you can buy once, which is like a huge buff to like a piece of software that you can buy it once instead of a million times. Um, yeah. Oh, thanks, Sod. Thanks. And I mean, Clip Studio is getting better for painting. I also don't paint very much, so I'm not maybe the best person to ask about painting software. Um, but some of the issues that I had with Clip Studio as a painting software um, are being solved slowly as I just bother to find like the right smudge brushes on the platform, the store or whatever, the marketplace of ideas. Oh, right. What am I drawing? Just some figures. Just some figures off a line of action. This nice figure drawing site. Tends to be how I start my work day. Is just do some warm up figures. Referenced. Couldn't come to the stream, but saw the ballet sketches. They look cool. This lady? Thanks. We were thinking of buying Clip Studio. Yeah, just get like what I have is like Clip Studio 2.0, and then I just got like the perpetual license, and this is just kind of good. It just works for kind of anything I'd need it for. So I bought this once. I've never had to buy another piece of drawing software. If you just draw, you can get Pro. If you want to animate as well, you can get EX. Skrrr! Sorry, that's the eagle emote sound. And then if you have that, you kind of just it's kind of all you need. So I think for warm up this morning, we're gonna draw some people squatting. This is not, well, I guess it might be relevant to, yeah, it could be relevant to the work of the day. But it's also just like a bit of a tricky pose that I've been struggling with recently. Just came here to eagle emote, spit and fire. Yeah, man, for sure. I might need you to elaborate a little bit. How can we realistically integrate the shape language? Are you saying how can we do shape language but in a less stylized way? Like how can you do shape language for more realistic subject matter, realistic drawings? You're a junior concept artist. That's so sick. I'm not. I'm a junior illustrator, but I do love concept art. I think so. If I am understanding your question correctly, I think you have kind of nailed one of the cruxes of the whole shape language idea. Yep, like character design. No, well, yeah, but if it's like, it's kind of just the way of the world that if you do a more shape language heavy design, I guess depending on what you exaggerate. So if you want heavy shape language in your anatomy, you're gonna push the anatomy, and it's gonna be more stylized, right? If you want like, oh, say you want to do like a blocky character, and you do big guy who's like real blocky. Well, part of what you're doing is exactly you're by emphasizing shape language, you're losing realism, right? So if you're the type of person to really enjoy a heavy emphasis on shape language in anatomy, you're the type of person who will sacrifice realism to a certain degree. Junior designer would be the first. That would be an entry level position, but it would be a job. Yes. So that's the thing. That's the thing. If you want shape language, if you want the shape language of a block, but you still want like a realistic figure, well, you could do that. You could have a realistic figure, and then spend more time like a realistic figure to some extent, and then you could be like, well, I want the block, so I'll just make the costume have that feeling. I'll give him a big cape or whatever. And then if you do that, you can have a realistic figure, but you can have a silhouette read of some very intense shape language. That's what I see a lot of realistic artists do. If they like shapes still, the more naturalistic artists, they tend to maybe then just think about, well, how can I incorporate it in the design? So I guess if we use this character as an example, just because I have it here, let's see if I have the silhouette nearby. I don't know. When you look at this character, she's obviously very tall. I guess her shape motif would be something like a swoopy long dagger or something. That's like her shape motif. If you really want that feeling of tallness, well, instead of exaggerating her physique, you can exaggerate the concept, the costume, sorry. You could even, if you wanted her to seem really tall, you could give her long gloves or whatever. And then you would exaggerate the sense of long limbs without actually breaking your realism in terms of character anatomy. And yeah, I mean, you kind of gave yourself your own answer, man. Hair is another place you can push without breaking the sense of like a realistic figure. You can push the hair. And again, if her shape language is like long stick and swoopy shape, well, then I put swoopy shape in hair, I put long stick in the limbs, and then you get that feeling. How do I design my silhouettes? Oh man, it's a big open question. Sometimes I think about, triangle, aggressive, dynamic, pointy, evil. Square is stable, is strong. Round is soft, friendly. Sometimes I think about stuff like that. A lot of it is also just thinking in terms of big, medium, small. Thinking in terms of appealing and clear read and silhouette. I think if you struggle to focus on, okay, I'll finish my speak, then I'll get back to my drawing bit because it's a little bit much for me to manage both of these at the same time. If you struggle figuring out what direction to go in with your silhouettes, I would go, well, what type of character am I designing? Am I designing a brute? Am I designing like a regal, calculating type? Am I designing like a femme fatale? And then I would go, well, what's some typical, like find some characters in the genre that you're designing. And then figure out, well, what do people typically do in this genre? So for calculating regal type, people often do capes. They often do tall, long silhouettes, imposing silhouettes without implying too much physical power. If you're doing like a brute type character, people often do like anatomy heavy silhouettes that are also big and blocky, right? If you're doing like a femme fatale kind of character, people often do tight anatomy silhouettes, but these emphasize elegance instead of power and brute strength. So if you're really like, I don't know what to do with the silhouette, it's good to look at like archetypes. What's a typical strategy for designing this type of character? And then just do that. It's okay to lean into tradition and cliche sometimes, especially when you're learning, because cliches are cliches for a reason. And it's not necessarily that they're good, but it's that they read well. They are very much the thing they're supposed to be. Yeah. So that's kind of what I do if I'm struggling, really figuring out what do I even do with the silhouette at all. I'd go, well, what do other people do when they're trying to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish? Okay, that was a that was a lot of Q&Aing. Let me draw some of these squats here. Not that I can't talk, but when I do the demoing as well, I sometimes get a little bit out of focus. I hope any of that was helpful. One of the more powerful things in learning art in general, I think, is that other people have been doing it for a while. And so if there's like a big question you have a hard time figuring out, say silhouette, you can ask other artists verbally and they'll give you answers. But I think some of the beauty in art is that you can ask those artists the same questions and get answers to them sometimes just by looking at their art, right? And that's why we do studies. That's why studies are so powerful. Is you can learn a lot of shit about how an artist thinks, and sometimes you'll be wrong, but you can learn a lot of stuff about how an artist thinks by analyzing their work. And that can almost sometimes be like asking them their thought process. And sometimes it's even better because you get to think about it instead of just having them spout the answer. You have a bit of a lean this way. Did I see TB Choi's Valorant concept art? Yeah, some of it. Yeah, I mean, she's really good at TB Choi is amazing for figures and for gesture and for expressions. I think I always go to TB Choi for those things. How do I sit my characters on the ground so well? I even fucked this one up a bit. Start drawing ground planes, bro. Start every time you draw a character, draw the ground plane that they're sitting on. And then if you want to take that to the next level, after you've drawn the ground plane, draw the rectangles in which you want to position the feet. It's one of the strongest ways I've found to really establish a sense of space and a sense of floor in a drawing. And then after you do this like a couple hundred times, I'm sure that your feeling of feet and shoes interacting with the floor will be better. With this, you will sleep. Good night, Momo's World. Good night. Thanks for joining, and happy you like the content. If you really want to connect your character to the ground, I think drawing the ground is really solid. Yeah. Okay. More squatters. I kind of hate that saying of cliches are cliches for a reason, because often people use it to say that they're good. And cliches, you just always do cliches. But I do think they're good for clean, efficient communication. Like if you want to tell everybody something specific and recognizable with a drawing really fast, you can use a cliche, right? Because people will understand that motif, that cliche, to just mean something specific. Tall, slender silhouette means elegance, and it just does. And everybody who sees a tall, slender silhouette will understand elegance. And that's why cliches are cliches. That's the reason cliches are cliches. They're easy to read. Sorry, I was talking about cliches and silhouettes earlier. What's a good way to start designing silhouettes? Is from cliches. And the point is just that they're easy to understand. Okay. I just wanted to finish that thought before moving on completely. Way to put the character on the ground from behind poses. Um, I'd say still just draw the ground plane, man. It's not angle specific. Even if you're doing like a super high camera, I think it's going to be helpful um, in placing the character on the ground to draw the ground plane. Um, and if you're drawing a character from behind, same thing. I think it's always going to help to figure out the ground plane first. Good morning, Gohan. How you doing? Oh shit, guys! I have tea. That's so good. It's going great. It's going great. Just warming up for the day, warming up for the week. Spill the tea. No, I want to drink it. Oh, bit of a fever and stomach ache. Sorry to hear that. Hope it gets better. You meant spill the tea. I know what you meant. I will not spill my tea. I will be drinking my tea. Thank you very much, sir. No, I got it. I don't know, man. I'm good. I'm great. Not so much tea. No tea, no shade, you know? These legs are a little long. Got any plans for Christmas? Yeah, just Christmas with family. Um, I don't have any like content plans for Christmas. Um, it's green tea. It's green tea. Content wise, it's just the same old for Christmas. Don't have any Christmas specials or anything. Thought you were building gingerbread house on stream. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we could have been drawing like Christmas shit, but I think it's also you know, Jacob's number one stream topic these days is the Christmas presents I'm making. Um, so I'm drawing a lot of Christmas stuff just off stream. I'd rather just draw regular shit when I'm on stream. What are we doing here? So okay, so the point here is that sitting flat-footed forces your knees up higher while sitting like resting on your heels and sitting on your like the tips of your toes causes your knees to go more forward. That's the point I'm trying to. It's actually and before I take credit for anything, it's one of these Propic X Taco drawing tips that I'm just trying to study right now. I should have had my studies disclaimer up actually. I'm just trying to. For real, Santa is goated. No, no, no. Krampus is. You're getting that wrong. Krampus is goated. Santa's an old man. Krampus is goated. Hope that clears up the misunderstanding. No Santas. I'm doing elves, mischievous Christmas elves. That's the illustration theme. Yeah, well, he's literally goated, right? Just to go ahead and explain my joke. Do I know the backstory? I don't know. It's like some folk cautionary tale, right? Krampus is gonna eat you if you don't behave or something. I think it's something like that. Okay. Yep. Flat-footed, knees higher, on tippy toes, knees lower, more forward. Good, good. And let's do another one. But okay, but now I've just been proven wrong. Because then look at this girl doing exactly the opposite. Knees quite far forward, but she's flat-footed. I guess like to an extent. She is wearing a little bit of a slight heel, but it's slight. Well, I guess my heuristics just been blown to pieces. That's fine. And if you want to take the ground plane thing one step further, you can always also draw like a ceiling. This will make your this will also kind of immediately make your perspective like a 4-point perspective, right? Because now you've established that you're looking down at the bottom plane and up at the top plane. So if you want to make that perspective feel more correct, feel more natural, you would have to make it a little bit curvilinear, a little bit 4-point. Is there any celebration or Christmas trees around where you live? I think my family will have a Christmas tree. Yeah. There's probably a tree in the town square. I'm not very big on Christmas. I kind of just let it happen and then move on, move on with my life. So I'm not super in tune with all the Christmas news in my local area. You're still getting the hang of Christmas? Is Christmas tree a decoration? Christmas tree, you decorate it and then you dance and sing around it. It's quite I guess it's quite like a cult. I didn't forget about YouTube chat. It's just a little bit delayed, you know? Christmas is a cult. Yeah, yeah. Okay. What have we learned today? This heuristic doesn't work. Good knowledge. we learned that probably putting down the ground plane could help me out as well when doing squats like this. Because part of the problem with this pose is that the space is a little hard to figure out. Ground trig is very helpful. Yeah, it is. I actually should do it more. I just forget about it. There was a time where I did it for literally every figure drawing. And I think that's quite good practice. Nice, man. I'm happy that helped. Yeah. So is it hard to figure out the relationship between the figure and the ground to draw a little ground plane? Then when you've drawn the ground plane, go ahead and draw the rectangles in which you want to place the feet. And then once you want to take that to the next level, go ahead, draw a ceiling too. And then you've kind of drawn the entire box. But it also just helps you think about, okay, I'm looking up at all this junk, I'm looking down at all that junk, right? And then just know that if you want the perspective to feel natural when you're drawing the ceiling, that you want to draw like a curvilinear 4-point perspective. If you're looking down at this plane, vertical lines would converge at a point somewhere down here. If you're looking up at this plane, vertical lines would converge somewhere at a point up here. You can draw this drawing with like a linear perspective and just have vertical lines be vertical, but it feels less natural. I mean, this is a very question answering heavy stream, Sod. But usually I take one or two a stream and do like a little demo. Let us just jump into, okay, so that's enough warm up for me today. I think I might draw squatting people tomorrow as well, because I do want to learn more about that pose. Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you have stuff that you're looking up at and stuff that you're looking down at, for a more natural perspective, it's good to go curvilinear. Especially if you have like really heavy perspective like this. Yeah. Because if you do linear lines like this, the more you get up here, the more the form will just sort of be distorted. But I think that's something for another day. But you can kind of see here already that this would technically be a shoddily drawn, but it would be a box in linear perspective. And if you do curvilinear, it just it looks a little less whack, because you don't get, the angles don't become as sharp. Anyway. Well, you know, someday I might do a course. Don't think that I'm above that. We're not looking at this lady. We're looking at everything else is the I'm looking for. Yes. This document is now big enough that I need to work in a different document. This one. Oh, it's because I have a layer in the way. Yes. Okay. So this girl is almost done. This is almost the exact character design that we want for this character. It's really close. Some of the things we need to change is we need to make her a little bit more grounded. We need to make it a little bit more grounded, and like the design. I think that's actually the main thing. Yeah, I think that's actually the main thing. We want her to be a little bit more believable as like a fighter. That's the big thing. I'll actually just write my homeboy just to be certain. I think that's really all we need to change. And I was actually thinking that I'd draw like do a new drawing. But it almost just makes more sense to just adapt this one, I think. Only expensive viewers here. Ain't no cheap viewers here. Where's the music? Yeah, so the thing is that playing music on stream is actually against copyright law. And you you can do that kind of like on an until you get caught kind of basis. And that could work. But I mean, recently I was just like, well, maybe we just don't even do the until we get caught thing. Maybe we just try and see if we can go music free. That's sad. The only maniac who enjoys silence? I guess so. I guess so. I mean, theoretically, you could put on your own stuff, right? Lucia DPA, hey, how you doing? Then you'll play your own music. Yeah, I think that's a great solve. I think that's a good solution. And then the headgear was another one. I don't believe the balancing here. She'd fall right over if she doesn't have the heels. I could just sing. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Just stop with all this art commentary shit and just start singing. I'm sure that's a better product. Ah, bonjour, ça va? Oui, oui, ça va bien, ça va bien. How's this from a balance perspective? Oui, oui, ça va. Oui, oui. How do I elaborate? We all know I had a band. You think I'm the band type? Try and guess what instrument I play. How polite, Lucia. Et vous? I'm trying to find a job in the industry. You know what? This is pretty cool. I have a job in the industry. What a flex. Bass, I'm a bass player. I'm a drums player. Those are good answers. And they're good answers because I think those are cool instruments. Of course, we'll see how long that job in the industry lasts. Je ne crois pas, mais merci. Maybe a violin type off the scarf? That's funny. Actually, my sister plays the violin. Bass is cool. Try to speak English here. I was just translating. I took French in high school. I even had like an exchange in France for like a week. You're just asking. All right, Saad. See you around. See you around. Have a good one. Take care. Ooh, I love a take care. Such a kind sign off. French is so hard. Too many exceptions, man. So many different tenses. I don't want to be learning le conditionnel. What the hell? Just for my if statements, that's crazy. I'd be making if statements all the time, and now I gotta learn a new tense. Okay, so that's one thing, is we cut the heel. And then if we do that, I think it's nice to have like a little bit of like, to allow for some movement, essentially. This could be a joint. We could do like a mechanical joint. I don't know. I kind of like the idea that she has like half a soul. S-O-L-E. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm sure she has the regular amount of S-O-U-L. Just the regular amount. And okay, so the headgear is the other thing. I've been informed that it seems a little bit heavy. A little bit for like someone who does battle. I think maybe it's just like the third one. The fact that we've got 3 is a little bit much, maybe. Wrong. Probably wrong. Learning how to draw anatomy, perspective, etc. Nice. The fundamentals. Ooh, the fundies. Man, I hate when people say fundies. No, hate's a strong word. It just rubs me the wrong way. When I go climbing, my mates frequently talk about like bad conditions. If the air is humid and warm, it's bad conditions for climbing. But they never say conditions. They always say Connies. There's bad Connies today. That one's rough for me. That one's a rough one. Oh, that's on the same layer. Whoops. I'm all for I'm all for abbreviation, but the abbreviation needs to have the building blocks of the abbreviation need to be in the words. Do you think people use books these days? I use plenty books. Books are great. For oh, actually, perspective I didn't learn from books. Well, I do have I somewhat yeah, no, I learned plenty from the Scott Robertson book, the classic that everybody talks about, which just is too dense. It's too much information, but it's good as like an encyclopedic work. You're like, how do you do that type of perspective again? And then you get your Scott Robertson book, put it on the table, and then you get learned. Yes, the Tom Fox book. That's my favorite. I use that one all the time. Good choice. I don't know, man. Still kind of feels too clunky, huh? What if we do a big one and a small one? You know someone is French when they tell you 10 minutes ago. Look at us bringing people together. Look at the chat being a social media sharing place. I don't know, gang. I'm so close to just like finding like a punk headpiece on Pinterest and just copy pasting. W community? Yeah, man. I don't like that. He posts all the down, arm up. I do post all the down, arm up. And arm up on the down. I don't know, guys. I kind of want to go harder on the headpiece, not less hard. We're gonna have to try it. We're gonna have to at least try it. And to that end, I think we will just get something from Pinterest. We'll just go like, punk jewelry headpiece. Hit me with something. They're quite intense too. Oh, you know what? Okay, something we could do. Let's just get rid of this completely. Work over it on a different layer. Okay. And then what if we reintroduce ear? For the purpose of the headpiece is like a bear trap, but not for any like thematic like writing reason. Just because I thought it was cool. That's all it was. But it's not like a functional bear trap, right? It's just I'm just borrowing some of the shape language. The read. Is this not the layer? It's hella the layer. There you go. Yeah, I guess that would unfortunately completely block her face. But you could do this. And then do like darker metal maybe. Maybe that's bad. I think I'm painting myself with a little bit of a corner because she's supposed to be more of like a street urchin. But I did give her very reflective very reflective metallic shoes. I think it's a better play to lean more into like a rusted, heavy black metal iron look. Yeah, white kind of slaps. Yeah, from like a value composition perspective, but not from like a personality, who's the character kind of perspective, I think. I cannot do an Indian accent. I was trying to go a little French there with the one word, so it's a bit of a tricky sell. Tu fais quoi là? Tu fais quoi? I speak French without accent. It's impressive. Oh, thank you, thank you. I kind of forgot that I also added a spike like here. Feel free to cancel me on Twitter. This man is in fact not French, yet he attempts to speak French. Bad man. Okay, go. Good band. Good band. The other one, let's do the darker metal one as well. Let's just. I don't know, gangsters. I don't know about this one. And if we do this one, I think it's important that we do the same treatment to her shoes, right? Then it's like we're removing a material from her palette and substituting it with like black metal, dark steel. I think it could work. It's just different. And also, that would be the knives too. But I do think the strongest part about my French is my pronunciation, my accent. It's been a while since I've really practiced it, so a lot of the j'ai oublié la plupart de ma vocabulaire, je pense. Seulement l'accent reste. Thing about me and languages as well is I think it's fun to be able to speak languages. It's fun to practice language. I'm just typically not very big on travel. And when you're not very big on travel, you don't get to practice your language proficiency. And when you don't practice your language, you forget it, right? So my English is stuck because English is like probably the language I speak the most, even though I'm not native. But so much of my French is gone. You know what? I think so too. I think so too. I think I generally have like a good brain for languages. But it is just a matter of like having that reason to practice, right? I ran out of music now. Let me fix that real quick. All right, we're back. So you could do that. Or you could do that. The metal, it would just have to be like, I want it to be darker than her hair, right? Yet, because if it's not, it like just doesn't stand out the way I want it to. I want it to be darker than her hair. yet brighter than like the leather. I don't want it to be actually black. Oh well, I hope to see you around, Lucia. Have a good one. Take care. Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe you go like opposite and you go like Vanta black for the hair. Because if we did something like that, we're back into contrast territory. And we are doing design for a comic, so you could definitely within the realm of the possible. Is something you could do. But also, we already have that for the shoes, for the boots. Maybe we have to go. Maybe we have to go with the white one. Because also, I think the hair is going to be darker than what I've drawn it here. Because it's black. And then if we actually make it a little darker, we can do the same to the highlights. And then we get a really clear read of the headpiece. Well, there's some new suggestions. Cut the heel. Couple new takes on the headpiece. Nothing that I'm like ecstatic about, but an effort was made. Just dump those in the Miro board. Can you not drag and drop files into Miro? You can. Okay, cool. Um, don't need that one. Do I? Nope, don't need that one. No, I do need that one. Okay, cool. All right. Quick bathroom break. We'll be right back. I think we will do some coloring of one of the other character sketches. See you in a sec. And we're back. Aliana, thanks for asking. I don't need artwork for my channel. I do it myself, so I'm good. But thank you. We're coloring. We're doing the coloring for. This is the next thing that's gonna happen. Is this is Jenny past. That's the name of the character. Past 2, and then just get rid of that for a little bit, and then I have. There's a guy that needs coloring. Here he is. Nope, that's not the one. There you go. Not even that happy about that sketch, but I just want to slap some locals on it. Let's see here. Gritty oil and diesel punk and desaturated browns and leathers and such as that. Just slap some color on. And metal bits. And just some indication that it's metal. Gonna be really lazy with the material indication on this. I'm really just slapping on some color. Maybe a little bit brighter. Thinking some denim type material for this. For the pants and for the shirt. And then I'm thinking about what's his accent color gonna be. I think this denim is a little too light. And I'm thinking blackish hair. With a fade there. Spread the metal into this color scheme. And accent color. We need an accent color. Yeah, sure. Definitely, this is the type of guy to... Come on. Okay, I guess that doesn't work. Alls I wanted to do, and I guess we don't have to make any selections to do that, is add a little bit of weathering, a little bit of oil, a little bit of grease. Like this, these people are not, and this guy is not the type of guy to have a fully pristine, clean outfit. Hello, Maycool. How you doing? Okay, just chilling, just chilling. Cool design. Oh, thanks, thanks. And let's try to be somewhat sparing with the metal highlights. This is not supposed to be like a chrome material, like in some of the other designs. It's actually supposed to be more dirty, grimy, dark metal. rougher material. Smash that follow button. Thanks, Alterator. Alterator? Man, it's I don't know how to. I gotta get like an activity dock in my stream setup. I think there is one of those. Activity feed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh shit, we just fucked it up. I just somehow fucked it up. I just fixed it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is how we roll. This is how we will roll. As soon as I figure out, oh no, I'm losing all my docs. Okay, I guess that's a problem for next stream. I just messed up something in my OBS setup. Oh well. Thanks for following anyway. Let's see. I lost the YouTube chat, by the way, there. So if you're on YouTube, I guess you've been nerfed for the rest of the stream. And a little bit of wear and tear on the metally bits as well. Well, on the accent color. That's what I meant to say. A little bit of dirt and grime, a little bit of oil, a little bit of scratches and junk. Mm-hmm. And a little bit of like wear on the denim as well, I think is good. And then I think once we have like enough of the material indication that I want in here, I'm ready to call them done. And the leather. Cool. That's all I want for this guy. I guess maybe we could do some scarring. It's a harsh world, this one. Not uncommon to get hurt in the world that we're trying to build here. Not uncommon. Yeah. Yep. Cool. And let's just hide everything else. I usually have a folder. Yep, there you go. Run an export on this guy in just a second. Yep, that's that guy. That's that guy done. $14 minutes left. 14 minutes left of stream. What do we do with 14 minutes? Maybe we do some of those figures from imagination that I've promised myself to do every day. We can certainly try some people squatting, though I do expect to encounter some issues. Let's just put him on his toes. I think it seems true enough that if you're at least if you're inflexible, sitting on your toes makes it possible for your legs to go way more out, while sitting on your feet, if you're inflexible, would make your legs go way more up. That makes sense, right? What's bro doing? Street. Curvilinear practice perspective street. Cool as fuck. Yeah, we'll see. It's again, it's just like to have a matrix to place characters in, and then I can practice, I can try drawing them, and then know my mistakes. Figure out the mistakes, come back, try again later. For example, this arm is going really poorly. Nope. Feels better. You're gonna have a good drawer time? Yeah, thanks. I will. Have good fun work times. Yeah. There you go. Something like that. A little bit too curved on that arm, I think. Hot and curve on that arm. And also, I think the upper arm would be more perpendicular to our line of sight than the lower arm. I would expect this distance to be longer than this distance. Arm goes out and then it sort of droops down, right? Let's see, I have reference. So that's an expectation. Let's see if that holds true when I look at the reference that I've gathered. Seems like I'm wrong. Seems like I'm wrong. Depending on the pose, but in most cases, I think that's not what would happen. More likely, I think, is that they're about the same length because it's about they're at about the same angle, and all that really changes is the bend. But they're kind of going down in space the same amount, the upper arm and the lower arm. Shit, that's a tough pose. Okay, it's good. We've identified a weakness. Now we'll just work on this pose for the next couple of sessions. See what we can learn. Potential to grow. Probably make him a little smaller as well. Foreshorten that foot a bit more. And put a little bit further in. And let's go ahead and try another squatter. Let's do one flat-footed if we can. which means, because I'm not thinking extremely flexible, it also means high knees. Doing something maybe. I don't know. I think you can push the clavicles enough that they're going a little bit forward. But there's obviously a limit to how much you can push your shoulder forward, right? Nice. Tricky pose, something to work on. Good times. Looks like he's falling backwards a little bit. And I guess he is to some extent, but I think a little too much. All right. I'm going to call it here. That is going to be today's stream. Thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out. Who knows? See you guys in the next one. Until then, have a good one. Take care. Goodbye.